This is Hannibal here with my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Let me just start with something that really annoys me about AEW. They did a taping last night in Dayton, Ohio, advertising Moxley, Daniel Bryan, and Chris Jericho, who are nowhere to be seen in the results of the show. They continuously put people on posters that are not going to be at the shows. Why? I actually do not care about their downfall at all. I don't feel bad for them at all when they play stupid games like this with the fans. They pay these guys huge contracts. Why can't they appear on these shows? And then they wonder why. For instance, Arthur Ashe Stadium, they only have about 4,000 tickets sold. It's coming up in a few weeks. It's a 25,000 seat stadium. Where have all the fans gone? You keep screwing them over. Let me get into some WWE news. SmackDown is done on Fox. Goes back to USA tonight. Nikki Bella has hired an attorney to divorce her husband, who allegedly assaulted her a few weeks ago. He also is claiming she was throwing stuff at him. So we'll see how that plays out. He was from Dancing with the Stars, and I doubt they're going to use him again. Dave Meltzer brings up, so I already reviewed the Hulk Hogan Logan Paul, but he brings up that Hogan said the fans are very forgiving in wrestling. They've forgiven Benoit, which a lot of the fans have, I have to admit. And that includes him saying the N-word. And by the way, for the whole Kevin Nash, Logan Paul thing, Logan Paul actually helps the WWE more than they help him. I mean, yes, it's a payday for him, but he would not be having all these wrestlers on his show, which is one of the most popular shows on the internet, if he was not getting those WWE paydays. And Kevin was like, he didn't know the word what the word shoot meant. Most of the wrestlers today are paid to train. They're pretty much eliminating almost all house shows. It's far from the days where you're wrestling 10 or 12 years, earning your contracts. It's really easy these days. But Logan Paul is a great benefit to WWE. Bringing his following to WWE, and he has boxed. He knows how to fight, and he's a good wrestler. Even though he can only do the choreographed matches, he's had good performances. The WWE house show in Manchester, UK, coming up in about a month, only has 2,700 tickets out in a 20,000 seat venue. This is relevant because Mark Shapiro, WWE executive, said they are going to start doing less shows and putting prices up higher. Because he says, he basically is saying that WWE tickets are selling out everywhere. They're not. They're not. For the big shows, they are. But for instance, there was a note in this week's Observer that the Raw in Ottawa a couple months ago, the official number was only about 7,000 something. That's a 20,000 seat building. You jack ticket price, and that was, I think, down from like 10,000 the previous taping they've done here. Put tickets up higher, you're going to probably get 4,000 if you come back here. But who knows if Ottawa will even be on WWE's radar anymore now that they're cutting out smaller markets. We're only about a 1 million person town. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are expected to start on NXT soon. Whoa! The CW first 2 NXT shows. They're trying to load up the card. CM Punk is going to be at the first one, Allstate Arena in Chicago. 5,400 tickets out right now for that. The second one in Randy Orton's hometown of Randy Orton, featuring Randy Orton, only has 2,000 out. So Randy Orton, although he's a good solid hand, you can't really say he's too much of a draw. They are expecting to get good ratings their first couple weeks on the CW, though. Apparently, after those first few weeks, they're going to go back to taping at the Performance Center. SmackDown in Edmonton had 10,928. Now, here's another thing. When I wrestled on SmackDown in Edmonton back in 2004, they had 14,000. I do remember that. So for people don't generally consider 2004 a hot period for WWE, or 2005 it was perhaps. They were drawing more in Edmonton in 2005, and then Calgary for Raw only did 8,000 with Bret Hart. That's a 20,000 seat building. Why are you telling us you're selling out everywhere and you have to raise ticket prices? I mean, it's not really a fan-friendly ownership regime right now. Shayna Baszler has renewed her contract. AEW news, Meltzer reports they're losing their audience right now, and that's going to be hard to change. They might get a show on FS1 now that Fox is done with WWE. No announcement of any new contract, although Meltzer has said that it looks like they're going to have some type of renewal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Their next pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream, in less than a month in Tacoma, has an advance of 4,000. Most of the upcoming pre-sales are around 1,000, and they're going to a lot of NHL and NBA arenas with literally hovering around 1,000 pre-sales. They have put out a poster for their stadium show in Brisbane, Australia in February. Some of the people on the poster are Tony Storm, who is from Brisbane, Maria May, Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Adam Page, Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Samoa Joe, MJF, and Mercedes Moné. I don't know if that's going to fill you up in arena. And keep in mind, a lot of the times, people on the posters don't actually appear. Stephen P. New, an attorney representing Kevin Kelly and a couple other recently released AEW wrestlers, responded to Jim Ross calling his lawsuit frivolous, saying, quote, Tony Khan paid JR a lot of money to do nothing for about 5 years now. If I were Jim Ross and I were living at Jacksonville Beach and making a bunch of money to do not much at all, I'd probably come out and call Stephen P. New's lawsuit frivolous also. Everybody's got a price, end quote. Now you have to, I don't know much about that lawsuit. I do disagree that wrestlers in AEW and WWE are classified as independent contractors, because you have, in WWE, it's nearly impossible to get unapproved. It is impossible unless WWE makes a deal with like TNA or NOAH and sends you to them. You couldn't just go wrestle for anyone else or do a movie without their permission. AEW is a little bit more lenient, but unless AEW actually sends talent to indies, their wrestlers charge a crap load. For instance, what's his name? Oh my God. The guy that had the Nightmare Factory with Cody Rhodes. I can't even remember his name. He's asking for like $7,500 on the indies. I mean, the price. I mean, I'm sure for like when they send Swerve to Defy, I'm sure AEW is doing that because, and like Jericho's appeared for PWG. I'm sure there's special deals going on there. But like if you want to just book an AEW guy for an indie show, you're going to be paying a lot. And they have to approve it. So no, I don't think they're independent contractors in either place. AEW Collision in Chicago this week, 2,700. Or last week did 2,700. This week's Dynamite in Lexington, Kentucky, 2,900, including comps. September 12th in Dayton, Ohio, yesterday, where they false advertised Moxley, Jericho, and Danielson, among others. They said 3,000, but someone that was there told me there was less than 3,000. CMLL did its lowest crowd in a while last week, only 7,500 for last Friday, but that's still pretty good. UFC does its biggest gate ever tomorrow night at the Sphere in Las Vegas. $23 million gate already, and there is still still 1,000 tickets left. 13,328 tickets sold right now. Cain Velasquez is being sentenced for his attempted murder charge October 13th. And I just want to clarify something. A lot of people think that Cain Velasquez, who's also in WWE for a period of time, should be completely exonerated because they think the guy that he was trying to shoot actually was the one getting shot. What happened was he was firing off bullets on the highway, putting lots of people's lives in danger. And the person that he shot was the driver of the car, not even the guy that allegedly molested his family member. So it's not like he actually shot the guy that allegedly molested someone. So if people are saying he should go off scot-free, I mean, you're approving of someone going on a highway, shooting off bullets, putting tons of people in danger, only to not actually even shoot the guy that he was trying to shoot. I would want to probably kill someone if they did that to someone I cared about as well. I'm just saying that he probably could have been a little smarter about pulling that off if he was going to do it. Because in the end, he didn't harm the guy that did it. In other MMA news, the pay-per-view TV buys for Jake Paul versus Mike Perry were 7,800. Nate Diaz, George Masvidal, which Diaz only got paid about 10% of what he was supposed to get paid, 11,400. I just talked about the Nash and Logan Paul. Nash is just trying to stay relevant. What did I think about the Bret Hart on Raw? I like to see him come out. But, I mean, other than that, it was blah. I really find Sami Zayn very boring. I should be doing this show from prison, really. Why? Because someone falsely accused me of something, and they ended up with a criminal record out of it because they assaulted me with a weapon, and I was found to just be doing self-defense. Is that why? There's absolutely zero reason why I should be in prison. Thanks a lot, stranger. Looking for his late birthday present, Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix. QT Marshall, yes, QT Marshall allegedly is asking for $7,500 on the Indies. He would not draw flies. I've got the nerve talking about someone for putting people's lives in danger and wanting someone to go for it. Why? Whose life have I ever put in danger, pal? Reg, when are we going to see Shane McMahon's debut in AEW? That would be a good purchase. Attacking an old man with a weapon. Well, I've never done that. You obviously are delusional.